Vegeta's trajectory begins with him being introduced as an antagonist, a scion prince who is initially determined to subjugate and conquer other planets for his own gain and glory. His arrogance and thirst for power lead him to commit acts of cruelty and destruction without hesitation. These early characteristics of Vegeta echo the biblical concepts of pride and uncontrolled ambition, which often result in downfall and adverse consequences. However, as the story progresses, we begin to witness significant changes in Vegeta. He faces defeats and challenges that force him to confront his own weaknesses and limitations. This process of confronting one's own failures reflects an important biblical principle: the need for humility to recognize one's own need for redemption and transformation. A crucial moment in Vegeta's journey is when he forms bonds of friendship and even a family with the other main characters, such as Goku and Bulma. These relationships begin to soften his heart and awaken in him a sense of responsibility and concern for the well-being of others. This aspect of Vegeta's story echoes biblical teachings about the power of love and community to transform lives and redeem sinners. Eventually, Vegeta reaches a turning point in his journey where he is no longer solely focused on himself and his own selfish goals. He begins to fight not only for his own glory, but also to protect those he loves and to do what is right. This change in motivation reflects a fundamental principle of biblical ethics: the transition from selfishness to altruism, from self-love to love for others. Saul, a character from the Old Testament, is initially presented as a leader chosen by God to rule over Israel. However, throughout his journey, he demonstrates characteristics of pride, arrogance, and disobedience to God. A pivotal moment in his story occurs when he disobeys a direct order from God to completely destroy the Amalekites, choosing instead to spare King Agag and some of the livestock. Similarly, Vegeta in Dragon Ball is initially portrayed as a proud and arrogant warrior prince who despises his enemies and is determined to achieve power and domination. He often ignores advice and warnings from his allies, placing his own pride and ambition above all else. However, both Saul and Vegeta face consequences for their actions. Saul is rejected as king by God due to his disobedience, while Vegeta suffers defeats and humiliations in his battles, forcing him to confront his own limitations and failures. These experiences of failure and adversity are turning points in both characters' journeys. Just as Saul goes through a period of introspection and regret after being confronted by the prophet Samuel, Vegeta also begins to reflect on his actions and motivations as he interacts more with the other characters and faces increasingly greater challenges. Eventually, both Saul and Vegeta go through a journey of transformation and redemption. Saul recognizes his mistakes and seeks God's forgiveness, while Vegeta begins to value the bonds of friendship and family over his own pride and ambition. Both experience a change of heart and a new direction in their lives, marking the beginning of a journey of redemption and renewal. Vegeta's redemption can be compared to the spiritual journey of conversion and repentance described in the Bible. Eventually, he sets aside his pride and selfishness, learning to value the bonds of friendship and family. This reflects the biblical teaching on the importance of love for others and forgiveness. Furthermore, Vegeta also goes through a process of humility, recognizing his weaknesses and seeking to improve his skills to protect those he loves. This reminds us of the many stories in the Bible where God uses imperfect individuals to accomplish his purposes, as long as they are willing to humble themselves and trust him. Vegeta's story in Dragon Ball can serve as a powerful reflection on biblical themes such as pride, redemption, humility, and love for others, showing that even the most obstinate and selfish can find the path to transformation and grace. If you like the content and want to help us continue, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment or suggestion about a book, film, series, anime that you want to see analyzed on the channel.